What is going on, guys? I just wanted to do a quick little breakdown of some lessons that I have learned so far this July. Here we've got Euro Yen on the hourly. We're basically sort of in this corrective sideways move. We've got a 1, a 2, and a 1-2 touch here. If we just zoom in a little bit, we've got this ascending channel and this sort of retrace here, and we've sort of impulsively broke out of this trend line. On the 4-hour, it does look a lot clearer, and what I wanted to see was, will this fulfill this 90% rule that it would return to the start of the correction? So I like how this broke down. I like how this was sort of impulsive in this sense. We got this ascending channel reversal structure. It is a setup of mine, and then I saw this little tight correction. Seeing if this would come to the downside, I did set an entry order with 16 pips. And there we go. I was seeing, will this at least take me a 3-to-1 trade? Yep, risk to reward 4.3 almost. If we just quickly go forward, get tags in and kind of creeps back up. And this was, I think, during the night, so I was asleep while this was happening. And then I get tagged out in the morning, and I get just tagged out, right? What happened here, what was the lesson here, is that, okay, my stop might have been a bit too tight. I've had that problem for a while where I just sort of choke trades a little bit, where I get tagged out by a pip or two and then it drops. However, yes, it goes to the downside. I don't feel that frustrated as I would before, because I'm just seeing this as, okay, my analysis was correct, my forecasting was on point. Just the lessons here was that a bit too tight, and that this had just evolved into a larger flag. So you know, the tight flag just developed into a larger flag, and in that sense it just turned into something like this. Now the next trade was euro dollar that I just want to cover, which was up here, where I just take price back to where I got in. So we're in this sort of channel. I was seeing this as a ascending channel at the time, like this. If I just do that, this was just some volatility here. Let me just get rid of that. This is sort of what I was seeing, that we had this double top within the ascending channel. I like how this was corrective as it was approaching this double top region, so definitely a go-to setup of mine. So I had a reduced risk entry set, and you'll see me get tagged in. So I was actually going to a meeting, so I aggressively locked in a break even because I was going to be away from the charts. So it was only running around 0.7 at the time, but I moved it to break even. That was an aggressive management for me. You see me that I get taken out here for the break even, and what happens next is it eventually does move to the downside, and I believe it completes that 90% rule, that it does come to this start of the correction here. So there we go, 4.4%. So yeah, that was a big lesson for me. I actually liked this area because it was also coinciding with this like daily trend line, which you'll be able to see if you have a look at the charts. And the fact that this was so corrective as it approached this such like beautiful setup, double top. I would say this was actually a high probability sort of setup. Maybe not the best area, because I'd say it's a valid area in terms of the downside was limited and eventually we would possibly pop up to the upside. But yeah, you see this completing down here for the 6%, then ultimately springboarding to the upside. But yeah, lesson learned, man. Like the fact that I aggressively moved to break even because I was going to go into a meeting, I was going to be away from my phone. I was scared that I would be taken out for that 1% loss when, you know, it's only 1%, and I have to keep reminding myself that. So big lesson learned there is that when we are in this high probability area, I should just be a little bit more lenient with my stop, and I've just got to keep that in mind. So big lesson learned there. with those two happening, this was around like this was 12th of June, Euro Yen was around like the first week of July, sorry. I want to share this little win that I had with Aussie dollar. I really like this trade. You know, I took everything that I learned from the two losses from Euro Yen, Euro USD, those lessons learned, and I had a much larger stop, 18 pips. With the euro, with Aussie dollar, it was more than enough room. I took a risk entry on 15 minutes, a lot clearer. We had this this impulse down, move up, and I took it at the break, and I got in around here with my stop well above here. Enough room, more than enough room, a lot more nicer than Euro Yen where I did choke the trade. So lesson learned there, and here I applied it for this one, and you can see that I was just being so much more lenient and more relaxed. After we did take this impulse, I just kept it at break even around here, and I was aware that, you know, we might get some sort of correction here, a little pullback, nothing too crazy. And I was loving the high time frames of this. After we did get this move back to the downside, I eventually moved it to around down here, which was around like 1% locked in, and I was a lot more lenient. And, you know, I think I was just learning from all those previous losses of just being so aggressive and being way too like greedy, I'd say, or some sort of emotions. After we were getting this, I eventually did move it down, and you know, I'll put that up on the screen. So yeah, this is just a quick little breakdown of how I turned two losses into lessons and applied it into a recent win this July.